This isn't just a story about a ridiculously fast car. It's a deep dive into an absolute engineering triumph. And, at the exact same time, it's a fascinating business case study about the brutal reality of the automotive industry. To understand the W1, we really have to look at the immense historical pressure it's under. McLaren doesn't just slap the number one onto any car. We all remember the legendary naturally aspirated V12 of the '92 F1, which literally invented the term hypercar, and how the P1 completely redefined the era with hybrid tech back in 2014. The W1 has impossibly large shoes to fill. And this brilliantly illustrates how their approach to filling those shoes is radically different from the rest of the pack. While brands like Bugatti and Ferrari are leaning super heavily into complex luxury or these massive, heavy hybrid systems, McLaren is explicitly ignoring that trend. They're doubling down on lightweight precision, rear-wheel drive, hydraulic steering, and pure, unfiltered driver connection. Section 2, Anatomy of a Track Monster, the Powertrain and Philosophy. Let's take a look under the hood because the mechanical specs here are just mind-bending. You're looking at a brand new, in-house 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 that pushes out over 900 horsepower entirely on its own. But wait, it gets crazier. McLaren paired it with a highly advanced radial flux E-motor derived straight from Formula E, adding another 342 horsepower. That brings the combined output to a staggering 1,258 horsepower. The real magic, though, that electric system provides instant torque, literally eliminating turbo lag. You feel the explosion of power the millisecond your foot touches the pedal. And honestly, it doesn't just feel incredible, it sounds unbelievable. This flat-plane crank V8 screams all the way up to 9,200 RPM. In an era where cars are getting way too quiet, this gives the W1 a truly emotional, visceral roar that totally pays tribute to its F1 and P1 ancestors. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the weight of that electrical system. That massive 342 horsepower boost we just talked about, the entire E-motor weighs just 20 kilograms. I mean, that is an absolute marvel of power density. Because of fanatical engineering decisions like that, the total dry weight of the W1 is an astonishing 1,399 kilograms. For context, modern hybrid supercars easily weigh hundreds of kilos more than that. This feather-light carbon fiber construction gives the W1 a power-to-weight ratio that is absolutely off the charts. It's essentially nearly 1 horsepower for every single kilogram of weight. Just let that sink in. Section 3. The aerodynamic masterpiece, bending the wind. Because straight-line speed is only half the battle, right? The exterior design of the W1 isn't just about looking aggressive, it's dictated purely by the need to manage airflow. Every single line on this body serves a mechanical purpose. The active front splitter literally opens and closes like an F1 drag reduction system. The double wishbone suspension is actually 3D printed for optimal aero shape. Those stunning anhedral doors, the gullwing doors, are hollowed out to act as massive air channels. And then there's the active rear wing. When you click the W1 into race mode, that rear wing doesn't just tilt up, it actually extends backwards nearly a full foot, effectively stretching out the car's massive rear diffuser. It generates a spine-compressing 1,000 kilograms of downforce. In fact, it pushes out so far past the rear bumper that when it's fully deployed, the car is technically no longer street legal. To summarize the sheer efficiency of this design, the aerodynamics are so perfectly dialed in that air actually leaves the back of the car twice as fast as it entered the front. It's not just slicing through the air, it's actively using it to glue itself to the tarmac. Section 4. Inside the carbon tub. Built for focus. Let's move to and see how this builds, because adjusting your driving position inside this machine is a completely bizarre 3-step process. To save weight, McLaren totally ditched heavy motorized seats. Instead, the seats are molded directly into the carbon fiber chassis. They do not move at all. You sit down, pull a mechanical latch, and physically pull the pedals and the steering wheel toward you until you're comfortable. Now, this radical, minimalist approach has totally divided opinions. Purists absolutely love the distraction-free environment, the beautiful acoustic transparent knit materials, and the extreme weight savings, while still managing to throw in wired Apple CarPlay and a rear-view camera. But critics? They argue that for over $2 million, the interior is just overly simple. Some feel the steering wheel and air vents lack the luxury you'd expect at this price point, arguing it almost feels like a toy.
Section 5. The ultimate track experience, unleashing the beast.
Regardless of how you feel about the sun visors, everything makes total sense once you start the engine at the F1 grade Mugello circuit. To put the W1 speed into perspective, let's look at a benchmark. We all know the Porsche 911 Turbo S is staggeringly fast, right? It hits 186 miles per hour in 22 seconds. Well, the McLaren W1 does it in 12.7 seconds. It gets there almost 10 seconds faster. We're talking about a completely different stratosphere of physics here. On the 1 kilometer straightaway at Mugello, the W1 easily blasts to 190 miles per hour. And here's the absolute craziest part. 190 miles per hour is the exact same speed Lewis Hamilton reached on this exact same straightaway while driving a literal Formula One race car.
Section 6. The billion-dollar paradox, the business of speed.
Here's where our explainer takes a major twist. We have to shift gears from engineering brilliance to the harsh realities of the automotive business. See, when you look at McLaren's direct competitors, like Bugatti or Lamborghini, they are backed by massive corporate umbrellas, like the VG Group, meaning they have billions in R&D money behind them. McLaren is an independent company, and here is the dirty secret of the hypercar world. Despite costing millions of dollars, these cars offer very little profit margin because the development costs are just absurd. So the crucial point is this ultimate irony. To keep doing what they do best, building lightweight, pure, $2 million hypercars, many industry analysts suggest McLaren has to adopt the Porsche playbook. Just like Porsche built the Cayenne SUV to generate the massive cash flow needed to fund the 911, McLaren might actually have to start building a high-volume, $150,000 family SUV just to survive financially. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. The McLaren W1 is undoubtedly a masterpiece, a flawless execution of lightweight engineering and pure driver connection. But as the financial realities of the independent auto industry loom large, we really have to ask, can the ultimate pursuit of speed survive without eventually compromising the purity of the brand? It's a question that is absolutely going to define the next decade of supercars. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped you understand not just the mechanics, but the true significance of the W1. See you next time.